Hello, dear aquarists. Welcome again to my next case of fish diseases, and I hope it will teach you a lesson, what to understand what a diseased fish can look like and what he can suffer from. And today it's my case 163, so I had many before, and many will maybe cover the fish you like or the fish you have swimming in your aquarium. So watch it and learn from my observations and the use of a microscope. So let me share you my PowerPoint and that I can talk today about the Brachydanio rerio, the zebrafish, a very common fish in the hobby. And today the fish had encapsulated trematode worm larvae or Metacercaria in the gills. I explain a lot about fish diseases in my book, so try to get some if you want to learn more about fish diseases. The Brachydanio rerio, they show some signs of disease because some are wasting away. You can see here the tiny ones, skinny ones, wasting away. They're getting skinny. They eat very badly. They don't swim normally. They don't eat so well anymore, etc. So we took out the gills, and what we found were, look, all these organisms inside, and those are encapsulated little worm larvae. They're sitting there and waiting to be eaten by a predator. I will explain you later on at the end of my video how it's possible that the fish can get that. So there's quite a few there disrupting the health of the gills and causing a serious problem of the gill tissue. Here we had more at the bases here and here, deforming the gills. So the gills are not working well. So the fish will have problems in respiration. Here we see it in higher magnification. And that's taking away healthy tissue and causing a lot of damage. Those encapsulated worm larvae. And at the same time, we found also poor internal organs, a poor spleen, a poor liver. Usually secondary bacterial infections occur. Why? Because the fish gets weak, his immune system goes bad because he had too many worms, and that fish is not respiratory system is not working, so he will have a loss of immunity and get all kind of infection, and particularly bacteria is very common. So to explain you about how it comes that that fish had Metacercaria worm larvae, that's because there were birds near the pond. Those fish came for sure from a pond, and the bird puts out droppings, and in the droppings there are worm larvae. They go inside the snail creates worm larvae, and at the same time, I'm sorry, here there are eggs, worm eggs. The eggs are eaten by the snail creates kind of larvae, and the larvae go inside the fish and creating those kind of Metacercaria encapsulated, and then the fish is eaten by the bird again, so the cycle can continue. So snails are in the pond and a bird is at the pond, so the ponds are not well biosecure protected, and that's why the fish get those encapsulated worms which can damage the tissue, and the worm will get big inside that big blue bird here or heron. Now that's the cycle. We have this kind of same conditions with clinostomen in Metacercaria worm larvae. Here, typical what we can see in platy. See the white spots are not egg. Those are clinostomen Metacercaria worms. And this seems to be a problem in coming years ago in the fish farming from Florida. So the zebrafish, what can you do as a treatment? Well, the badly affected fish cannot be saved because they become too weak and they have too much damaged gill tissue. Some fish might have a little infection and they can be saved by a functional food that restores the immunity, their health, so they can defend themselves against other pathogens or they become stronger. Then we recommend to use Dr. Bassleer Bifish Food Forte. Check if the problems get worse. Yes, sometimes an antibacterial treatment might be necessary if the fish gets weaker. Check with the supplier, the breeder, because there is the cause of the problem I explained in the previous diagram where there are birds and snails. I explain a lot about that in my books on fish diseases, so try to get them if you didn't have them yet. Maybe you want to have a training on fish diseases as a fish doctor. Well, go to my Patreon or get my books. So I hope this case gives you some insight how a worm infection can affect a fish and that it can come from a bad pond management. Yes, the breeder can create problems. I hope this video helped you to understand this kind of fish disease. Keep on watching, subscribe and like this one, and continue to learn about fish diseases to be a good fish hobbyist or aquarist. Thank you for watching.